Movie.
It's movie time. Da, 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 da.
Yay! And since we're coming off the Christmas holidays and the holiday season, it's the new year, we decided to do some randos.
I don't know about randoms. These were kind of documentary types.
Kinda, yeah. I guess
Fake
they were.
they're not fake.
Documentary.
They're based on real events.
Hollymentries.
Yeah, Hollymentries.
Hollymentries. They're based on real events, Hollywooded up to make them a little bit better.
A little bit more watchable.
So we're going to start off with a Deepwater Horizon with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
This
and a few other people.
Yeah.
That you would
but the main guy was
like
Mark Wahlberg.
Wow,
Oh, it had KGB from Rounders in it. Was that John Malkovich?
Yeah, John Malkovich.
Had him in there.
And,
love that guy.
Yeah.
This was based on the events of the BP oil spill, right?
Yep.
In the Gulf of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And how the events went down, how it unfolded, and stuff like that. Overall, I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay, great is a little big of a word. It was good. I enjoyed the story about it because it showed you how like the constant struggle in any business of pencil pushers and frontline workers.
Yep. Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? That was huge.
You saw that. Yeah.
Now I don't know how much it was fact because I've never looked into the BP oil spill. I just know that it was some big thing.
It was one of those perfect storm things.
Yeah.
It's just like anything and everything that could go wrong went wrong to make it all happen. And I understand those type of situations because it's like you always want to make sure that the boss is happy, and the boss is always pushing to make more money, and that's the way it seems to be in every business. And it's just like, well, we have to do a minimum standard, and it's like, no, just get it done.
Yeah.
Like, well. So there's that constant give and take in businesses, and you see it here, and then everything blows up, and it was spectacular.
Yeah, it was good.
I was really impressed with the whole action aspect of it.
It wasn't overdone. I don't think it was overdone at all.
No,
it wasn't.
It felt real. Like, again, we do spoil things with this one. So spoilers ahead. When the guy had his foot caught in the floor,
gross.
And they're trying to pull him out, and his bone was catching on the floor,
Yeah.
it was like, oh.
Then they moved it.
Oh.
That was
Oh my
cringe
gosh,
worthy.
that was.
Yes.
But it showed a sense, it gave you that sense of realism to the whole thing. It was like, there was no it didn't feel like Mark Wahlberg was an over-the-top action hero.
No.
Not at all.
No.
It felt
It could have
very
went that
grounded.
way, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely could have went, I'm a hero, and it's like, I really like the part where the two people were in like the, I guess the bridge, we'll call it. And the one girl wanted to press the button to cut it off.
Yeah.
And the one guy was like, we don't have the authority to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, this is totally how people would probably react in situations.
Yeah, and what was really sad about that whole thing was once the one guy who had authority got there, he was like, "Did you cut it?" And we're like, "No." It's like, "Cut it."
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, that's what
Obviously,
he said.
Obviously, I don't know how I would react in a situation like that because it's pretty stressful and stuff like that. But
And that's the hard part about a situation like that. Cutting a pipe is so much responsibility. That is literally like pushing the red button, right?
because it spills oil all over the place, does it not? Is that what it does? Like it cuts the drilling pipe and it opens the well.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely, it's
Somebody out there who knows about the oil business. Is that what happens? If you cut the line, it just spills oil into the ocean? If it's a water one, obviously.
Yeah, or is it a seal that actually happens, So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And it's one of those things of, do you follow the chain of command, or do you understand that this situation is beyond control and need to do everything you need to do?
Immediate action, yeah.
Right?
At what point, do you... And I think in that situation, like, it just shows, like leaders and sheep, you know what I mean? It's like, and this one guy, the one girl was like, I'm doing this, and so she was like, I'm taking initiative, I'm taking control. The other guy was like, don't do that. I don't want to.
She was trying.
Yeah, and he was kind of scared.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to be responsible for anything. And it's like, so overall, I would watch it, definitely.
I'm glad I watched it, but this is not one that I would own. It's
on Netflix, so I technically own it.
No, you rent it.
Wow.
You don't own anything on Netflix.
I guess
you rent it.
I guess, but hey.
But yeah, it was worth watching. Like,
yeah,
I'm glad it was one of those.
This
ones
is the second time I watched it. I watched it a long time ago, so I rewatched it, and it's still it held up. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't. It had its moments of Hollywood, but it had its. It was like I said. I don't know the whole true story behind it, so. To me, like I'm sure if you know the whole story and you watch it, it might be different. But overall, it was a really good. It was a good show. I liked it. I would watch it.
Yeah.
The next one we watched was Concussion, with Will Smith in it, and he was the main character. He was playing a doctor, like I guess what do they call him, a pathologist or something? Pathologist cuts up dead guys. For those people who don't know what that is, and he, in a sense, he takes on the NFL about concussions.
In a sense, no, he does take on the NFL, and again, you see this corporate entity trying to crush the little guy,
and it worked virtually the first attempt. It worked. Like he found out the one NFL legend who died had what they call CTE, which is like a lot of concussions. Your head gets jiggled around. But it wasn't noticeable. It was more of it had to be more. You couldn't.
In one scene of the movie is like, I have a theory. He says, I have a theory about this, and then his boss is like, well, do what you can to figure it out. And he's like, well, the only way I can figure it out is with more dead people.
Yeah.
Because I've looked at the CT scans. You can't see it on the CT scan. The only way you can see it is through an autopsy on a dead person.
In a sense, it was your brain killing itself from the inside out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And concussions is a big thing in all sports.
I know
contact sports
that there's been a major push in the past 2 years.
Well, they've
about concussions.
I know in football. I know in the CFL for sure that they've gotten rid of. They got rid of contact practices.
Oh, really?
And they're trying to get rid of contact at lower leagues in hockey and stuff like that. Now, this is a double-edged sword.
No, okay. In lower leagues in hockey, they have.
Yeah.
Because I some of the guys that I hang out with, they have kids in hockey, and they've just gotten rid of it altogether. And the parents are actually fighting about, well, how do they learn how to take a hit? Because by the time they get to a bigger league, all these kids have hit these growth spurts, and they're just giants compared to others, so they hit harder when you start to learn how to hit, so you don't know how to take a hit. So it's... I saw the other end of the argument.
For me being a sports fan, now football, you hit. Like it's inevitable. When if you get into football, to me, it's like you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Like prepare yourself. If you're in the NFL, like prepare yourself for a different life down the road when you're older. Yeah. You are giving up later years in your life to make a very lucrative living when you're young.
Yeah.
And you should know that. You should be smart enough to know getting hit in the head multiple times, very hard,
hit in the body, period,
is not a good thing for you. You know what I mean? And in hockey, me personally, I like a more skilled game than I do like I'm not saying take the fucking hitting out. I'm like, you know what?
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
it shouldn't be this whole goon aspect of the NHL,
which has gone out of it. It's definitely going away from it.
Yeah, they're moving away from it.
I would rather see like Connor McDavid flying down the wing, free and clear, not worrying about getting smacked in the head, than him getting smacked in the head with a big hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And same with like football. I know they do things like to protect quarterbacks and to protect, you know what I mean? And it's like, so, but this was like what the basis of the movie was. He went, hey, I have a theory of concussion. What was it? CT? I don't remember the big name of the CT.
No, I don't remember what the CT.
But it's concussions, right? Yes. And they had a theory, and the NFL went, well, we've done extensive testing on dummies, blah blah blah, and it's like, well, and he went, I'm proving you wrong. And eventually, in the long run, he was proven right because it turned out there was like 5 or 6 people who died or committed suicide, and they were shown to have the same CTE as. And now it's honestly, it's not as open as it should be. Mm-hmm. But like I said, to me, it's like when you're playing a sport, especially football, and you're getting into it, as a parent, I would never want. I don't want my kid playing football because I don't want to worry about his brain getting hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if they really want to, I'd be like, oh, I suppose, but there are risks. You know what I mean? And it's like, you shouldn't be getting hit like that at all. Like, no, I don't want to see some poor kid coming across the middle and getting plastered and being knocked out. That, to me, that's not fun. You know? So, yeah, you know, the NFL still, I don't know if they got sued by old players, settled out of court. So, in a way, admitting guilt, but not saying that we admit guilt. We're just going to give you money, make it go away,
and then we're going to pretend to do.
Yeah.
Well,
we're going to pretend
they
to do
might
things.
be doing something, but what they're actually doing is debatable. Yeah. So it's one of those things of, again, it just comes. The movie showed you just how big corporations are.
Oh yeah,
and how much power they wield. The fact that, you know, the FBI got involved and took this doctor and his the doctor who published the paper. They went after his boss, the FBI, and it's just like, holy crap. And then the charges were dropped after everything came
miraculously.
out. Yeah, and
the charges were dismissed. Man,
wow.
Go figure, it was a good movie. Like, it was a good. I thought Will Smith actually did a really good job at playing the guy that he did. I thought he was fine. I thought he was really.
I didn't like him with an accent.
No,
it was just. I don't know. Just watching Will Smith with an accent just took me out of the whole thing. Like, you know, they had a love story in it, which was fine. It wasn't huge.
Hollywood,
yeah. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was there.
Hollywood always has to have a love story.
Yeah, they always throw a love story in there. And, you know, the Will Smith's boss, you know, he had a wicked sense of humor, which was really nice to see. He had a very, I think he's a big voice actor, actually.
He played in Star Trek, didn't he? He was Deep Space Nine. He was that one dude, that alien. I can't remember his name, but that's where he played. That's where I remember him from.
Maybe that's where I know the voice from.
Yeah, he was he was one of them little comedy dudes in Deep Space Nine. Okay. That's where I remember him from, anyways. Okay. I would recommend watching this movie. Check it out.
Oh no! This is one of those ones I would recommend to watch too. It's not one I would ever buy. It was just, you know, a Netflix type thing, rental.
Yeah. Like, it gives you a good insight to where the CTE started. Yeah, I don't know if it started there, but
this is where concussions come from. This is where this is the whole thing.
But to me, again, it's the logic thing. Hey, I'm running my 300-pound body into another 300-pound body running 20 kilometers an hour. Huh. What's that going to do to my brain? Stop. Yeah. What's that going to do to my brain?
Yeah.
Nothing?
It was interesting. The whole science aspect was kind of neat to watch too.
I think that discussion about sports, like this type of discussion about sports, is very interesting because, especially being a sports fan, is because, you know, it's like when you look at it, it's like you have the one side of, well, it's part of the game and it's part of this, and, you know, you got the old school thinking, and then you got the new school thinking, and then you got, you know, me, just a middle dweller, like, as always, on everything. I just dwell in the middle. Mm-hmm. And I can understand both sides. You know, yeah, we want the hard hitting, and we want the passion that these people have, but at the same time, we want them to be safe.
Yeah.
You know, and I think safety and lifestyle after a game is more important than getting your face punched in or getting hit hard.
Well, you would hope that it should almost be, they should be taught a lesson when you get into it. It's like, buy a house, get some savings, make sure you're set up for afterwards. Instead of, because a lot of these people just blow their money, and unfortunately you see this big legend. He's
living in a car,
in a truck with a blown out window.
Sold his Super Bowl rings, and, you know, it's not just. Yeah, it's, wow. You know, I think a lot of sports fans don't want to, like, look at that, and they don't want to see. They just want to remember their favorite players as
them in their glory,
prime and in their glory days. And it's like, well, you have to realize that these people have lives after the game. You know, they have short careers, and, But it was interesting. It's cool.
Both of these movies are well worth watching. Yeah. I recommend them. Go check them out.
Yeah, me too. They're both on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can find them both on Netflix.
A good way to spend an evening and watch it with the missus. Earn some brownie points because they're both actually well worth watching.
My missus wouldn't like watching them, that's for sure.
See, I watched them both.
I have to watch them when she's not around. Oh, because she wouldn't she wouldn't have any interest.
Okay, well, so depending on the missus, I guess.
Let us know down below what you guys thought. Have you seen these movies, Concussion and Deepwater Horizon? If you have, let us know down below what you thought of them. If you haven't, go watch them.
There you go.
And let us know. All right, guys.
See ya.
See ya.